Bueno, mi gente, bienvenidos a otro episodio de New English, el podcast para aprender a hablar inglés. Durante este segmento de Storytime voy a estar leyendo The Brothers Karamazov, o al menos un fragmento. Esta obra fue escrita por el ruso Fyodor Dostoyevsky y se encuentra en el dominio público, así que es muy sencillo encontrarla. La obra se centra alrededor de conflictos existenciales que se dan alrededor de la muerte de un hombre llamado Alexei Fyodorovich Karamazov, recuerden, es una obra rusa. Pero muy interesante, así que sin mucha demora aquí vamos. Pero primero, recuerden encender sus subtítulos para que puedan crear la asociación entre palabra y pronunciación. Recuerden que en base a esto se da el aprendizaje de lo que es hablar de manera fluida. Si deseas hablar como un nativo, tienes que asociar las palabras con sonidos de pronunciación nativa. Book 1. The Story of a Certain Little Family. Alexei Fyodorovich Karamazov was the third son of a landowner in our district, Fyodor Pavlovich Karamazov, so noted in his time for his tragic and fishy death, which occurred just 13 years ago and which I shall report in its proper context. All I shall say now about this landowner is that he was a strange type, one that is, however, rather often encountered, namely the type of man who is not only empty and depraved, but also muddle-headed, belonging, though, to the class of muddle-headed men who are perfectly well able to handle their little property affairs, and it would seem these alone. Fyodor Pavlovich, for example, began with practically nothing. He was a landowner of the very least important category. He went trotting around other people's dinner tables, aspired to the rank of sponge, but at the moment of his decease turned out to possess something to the tune of 100,000 rubles in ready money. And yet at the same time he had persisted all his life in being one of the most muddle-headed madcaps in the whole of our district. I repeat, here there was no question of stupidity. The bulk of these madcaps are really quite sharp and clever, but plain muddle-headedness, and moreover, of a peculiar national variety. He was married twice, and he had 3 sons. Dmitri Fyodorovich, the eldest, by his first spouse, and the other 2, Ivan and Alexei, by his second. Fyodor Pavlovich's first spouse came from a rather well-to-do and aristocratic tribe of gentlefolk, the Mizuvs, who were also landowners in our district. Just how it came to transpire that a girl with a dowry who was also attractive, and was moreover one of those pert clever girls so frequently encountered in our present generation, though not entirely absent from our last, could have given her hand in marriage to such an insignificant weakling, as everyone called them then, I shall not labor to explain. You see, I once knew a certain young unmarried woman, back in the last quote-unquote romantic generation, who after several years of mysterious love for a certain gentleman, whom incidentally she could have taken to the altar at the time of her choosing with a modicum of fuss, ended by investing insuperable obstacles, and on a stormy night throwing herself from a lofty bank, resembling a cliff, into a rather deep and fast-flowing river, and perished in it, really for no other reason than her own choice, solely in order to emulate Shakespeare's Ophelia. One might even say that had this cliff, so long ago selected and favored by her, been not so picturesque, her suicide might possibly never have taken place at all. This is an authentic case, and one may suppose that in our Russian life there has over the past 2 or 3 generations occurred no small number of such cases, or cases of a similar nature. As in those other instances, Adelaida Ivanova-Masova's behavior was no doubt an echo of trends and ideas acquired elsewhere, and also the fretting of a captive and problematic mind. It may be that she wished to demonstrate her female independence, to protest against the conditions imposed on her by society, against the evil of her blood and family, and for one single instant, let us suppose her complacent imagination persuaded her that Fyodor Pavlovich, his rank of sponge notwithstanding, was nonetheless one of the boldest and most rapier-tongued men of that era, transitional as it was to all that was finest, while he was really only a nasty buffoon and nothing more. Another interesting aspect of the marriage was the fact that it took place following an elopement, and Adelida had found this enticing. Where Fyodor Pavlovich was concerned, his social position at the time made him thoroughly prepared for strange adventures of this kind, for he entertained a passionate wish to secure his future career by any means that lay to hand, when it came to sucking up to a good family and acquiring a dowry. This was a very alluring prospect. With regard to mutual love, it appears to have been entirely absent, both on the part of the bride and of himself, for all Adelida had to offer was attractiveness.
Bueno, eso sería todo por hoy, así que si les interesó, you can look for it on the internet. Es una obra bien fácil de encontrar. Los hermanos Karamazov, escrita por Fyodor Dostoyevsky. Gracias por siempre sintonizar Neuro English. Denle like al video, compártanlo, dejen todos los comentarios que deseen y suscríbanse. Nos vemos la próxima.